to this edition of Dustin's Kaleidoscope. I am Dustin, and I am here today with Keldrick Wright, who is the founder and the executive director of Wright Independent Life Options, New Jersey.
Yep, WILO, New Jersey.
WILO, New Jersey. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So I'd like to know, what exactly is WILO, New Jersey?
All right, so WILO, New Jersey, as you said, it's the acronym for Wright Independent Life Options. I have been working with families with special needs privately for over the past 10 plus years.
Okay.
And what I did recently, as of last year, was decided to, my base has grown so much that I decided to create a business and actually to grow and be able to offer the services that I provide to more families around northern New Jersey. So that's how WILO came to be.
And what is the age range of your clients?
My clients are anywhere from 21 and over is the population that I serve. So adults who are 21 and over who are learning disabled or developmentally disabled to some capacity. And so that is the age range of the client population I serve.
And do you have both male and females?
I have both male and female. More male than female, to be honest, but I have both. Yes.
Okay. And what are the types of disabilities that you're comfortable with addressing?
I actually have, over the past 10 plus years, have worked in special ed / human services in such a capacity that I've covered the full range from extreme emotional disturbance to psychiatric issues to autism, developmental disabilities in terms of Down syndrome. I've covered the full gamut of the full spectrum of disorders over my career. And so, so I basically deal with it all.
And so you said you have been doing this for 10 years. How did you get started?
Okay, so it's actually kind of a weird story, but I'll just make it simple and say that I kind of just fell into my calling and my purpose because I didn't know what that was going to be in life. I started out as a pharmacy major in school.
Oh, okay.
I found out very quickly that that was not my passion. It was not my calling, and I definitely was not interested in it. And so just through trial and error, I ended up moving to New Jersey from Washington, D.C., where I attended Howard University. I started a job as a one-to-one aide for a young boy with autism at a school here in Belleville, New Jersey. And so from that experience, and I was just doing it basically to make ends meet at that point. I just moved to New Jersey. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And basically from that job, I have grown on to do what I've been doing now for the past 12 years. And I literally have not done anything else other than this. So I found out very quickly that that was my calling in life. Even before I knew it was my calling, other people saw something in me that I didn't even realize was there. And I just absolutely fell in love with it, and I've been doing it ever since.
And what was it about it that made you fall in love with it?
You know what it is? I think that working with people with disabilities, number one, it brings me so much joy. I think people always say, oh, you do such a great job with them, but I think I get more from them than they get from me.
Really?
Literally, like they are truly the joy in my life. Like they really are great individuals to be around, great individuals to work with, and they just have this quiet, this unpolluted way about them, this innocence that I just love to capture and be around, because they don't know some of the stresses and some of the worries that you and I would know from being working adults, things like that. So there's just this pure innocence about being with them that I just love. I can completely let my hair down, be myself, and they can be themselves, and we just really vibe and connect with each other in a way that I, find, truly as a gift, that I can do that with them. So it's a gift from them to me.
And I know that you work with, clients who are adults themselves. So
Yes.
some actually live with their parents. So
Right.
what has been the reaction from the parents to how you've helped their children?
Well, let's see. Well, first of all, in the state, there's this what they call the plateau, and as you speak with some people who talk about developmental disabilities,
Okay.
and it's called life after 21. So once a client turns 21 years of age, they've been in school all that time, and then after 21, you have to kind of piece together what services you're going to get. And so parents have reacted so positively to the services that I've been providing them because I come into their homes, I create behavior plans, I come up with structure, we do checklists, we come up with charts, we do all that kind of stuff so that their young adults can function more independently as an adult. So if they need help remembering, okay, I have to get up at 7 o'clock to go to work, then we put on their checklist that they need to set an alarm. So we go through the process. And so the things that you and I might take for granted, when we have to get up, just our simple routine. We set an alarm, we get up, we shower, we go to work. Some people on the spectrum need reminders, they need prompting to do certain things.
Okay.
And so I just kind of provide, hopefully to families, a little bit more stability and security in terms of providing skills training for the young adults. So we do anything from cooking classes, we go out into the community to do community safety, we do travel training, we take the train to New York City, things like that. So just those kind of services that I provide for the families, and they love it, so.
And so the life skill, like you mentioned that you do the traveling and things like that.
Right.
Like how independent do you go with them first and you swipe the Metro card and then you let them do it, or do you all go through once together and then you say, hey, the next stop, I'm going to have you go through? How does it actually work?
Exactly. It just depends on the client, pretty much. I have some who, require a little bit longer follow along to graduate to the point of doing it independently.
Right.
But for the most part, I can show them by example. And for some, like I said, it may take many examples for them to actually grasp the concept. And for others, I can show them once, and then they have it, and then I kind of take a step back, and then we're just kind of going out and hanging out together, and I'm watching them doing it on their own without me having to say anything to them. So we've seen you around town, for instance, once when we were going to get manicures and pedicures
Yes.
as a part of men's grooming and personal health.
Right.
So we go in and I say, hey, as a young man, you still need to take care of yourself, and you need to make sure that that your nails are clean and that you're shaven. So we go get haircuts together.
Wow.
We do things like that. Yeah. So.
And is the goal to get them to be able to, not only to let them know that this needs to be done on a regular basis, but is the goal also to make sure that they can do this independently? Like, will they ever, be able to go downtown and do it themselves, or is that?
I have some clients who right now actually do walk, into the village. They are able to go get their own haircuts, and then they, come back. And I, kind of hang out in the background sometimes when they're not looking, just to make sure that everything's going smoothly. But the ultimate goal for any adult would be to have a life of independence, one where we're not relying upon anyone else to, help us brush our teeth, or help us to shower, or help us to shave, things like that. So anyone's goal is to have that dignity to be able to do it, to say, I did it for myself. And so my goal ultimately is to help them to learn how to do things for themselves. And granted, the spectrum of disabilities is so vast. We have some clients who will always need someone there just to kind of say, hey, I need a little help with this.
Right.
And I'm there for them too, But ultimately, if they can do it on their own, that's great, so.
And so do you see a difference in the clients? Like, are they reticent at first? Are they all gung-ho? Or what has been the reaction from them?
Sounds
like it's mixed.
Well, it is mixed because, like I said, up to age 21, they've been in school, not any fault to mom and dad, but they, a lot has been done for them.
Right.
And so once you kind of hit that plateau at 21, it's like, no one's going to be there to make sure that you do this, or at least you should want to do this on your own without mom and dad, or without, school teachers or people there to do it for you. So it really is a mixed reaction depending on the client. Some are very resistant to saying, okay, now I'm grown up and I have to do this for myself. And some embrace it and say, I actually want to be an independent adult, and I want to do what it takes to be independent. So some come with that energy, and some come very resistant, saying, I want someone else to do it for me. So it just depends on the client, really.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, we end up all on the same page, where they appreciate and realize that, I really need to do this on my own because it makes me feel better that I can get up and do it for myself rather than waiting for someone else to do it. Yeah, so that's the ultimate.
And I know there's a new initiative that you have been doing, which is trying to get some of your clients into a more traditional evening atmosphere.
Right.
Like, so can you explain that?
Okay, so I've been kind
explain
of
what it traditionally is, and what you're trying to do.
Exactly. So traditionally, even for adults who are over the age of 21, when it comes to social activities, and not that there's anything wrong with it, but we meet at gyms, and I still work for a program where we plan the dance, and it's at the school gym. Or we'll meet at a local, club, that one of the, another group might have,
Okay.
and they'll say, you can rent a hall out from us, and you can have the dance there. But it's all, in a sense, kind of contained, and it's all almost it's segregated, really.
Okay.
And so what I am trying to do is to partner with local bar owners to allow us to have a night that caters and gears just to people with special needs, not just to people with special needs, but to focus on them and also expand that to the greater community, people who support people with disabilities, to say, let's do a social night at a bar locally where you or I would go to have a drink or to hang out with our friends, not necessarily the school gym or something like that.
Right.
So I'm just basically trying to do this come out of the shadows, if you will,
Right.
for people with disabilities who want to just be a part of the greater community. The ultimate goal for anyone is just to be a part of the community at large. So we want to shop in town. We want to go out to bars with our friends. We want to go out to dinner and lunch with our friends. So a lot of what I do is community-based. And so the WILO Wednesdays, if we can get a Wednesday night at some of the local bars, which I'm working on actually, will be a night that they would host a special needs night at their bar. So we can go in and set up karaoke. They can have food
nice.
and drinks with their families and friends, and they invite their friends to come, and we'll have a night of special needs at a bar in the community versus somewhere secluded.
And so what made you how did you come up with this idea?
You know what? My brain is always, I don't think I ever sleep at night. I have a lot of other initiatives going on and things on my plate. But anytime I see a need, I'm one of those who just can't sit back and watch it happen. I have to do something to act on it. So it was just one of those things. I said, why are we going to the gym to have this dance? I said, why can't we meet at a bar, in the community and be around everyone else?
Right.
And have our dance and have karaoke night and, do things, on game night with our friends at the bar,
Right.
So that was what really spawned that. And it's just one of many initiatives that I've been working on lately to try to get people with disabilities more recognition and to bring community awareness in general to the population.
And I'm sure that will definitely bring community awareness, because
Right.
if you're with everybody else, then
Exactly.
you
Exactly.
get an opportunity to mingle. So
Exactly.
we have about a minute left, but on the other side of the break, I want you to tell me how this. So you've talked a lot about how this has helped your clients, how this has helped their parents, their families, friends, and things like that. But I'd like to know how this has helped you.
Okay.
How you feel about it. I mean, it's been 12 years now that you
Yes.
have been working in this industry.
Yes.
And how you feel about it. So we're going to go away, and we're going to come right back. This is Dustin's Kaleidoscope, and we'll be right back.
Local government, local educational institutions, and local community members all use cable access TV to communicate their message. They depend upon it as an affordable means of outreach. Public educational and government access television empowers local government agencies, individuals, and groups to use the media to speak directly to their constituents in a more direct and cost-effective way. Make sure everyone has a voice. Support your local PEG channels.
Welcome back to Dustin's Kaleidoscope. I'm Dustin, and I'm here with Keldrick Wright. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And at the other side of our broadcast here, I asked you. I would like to know, how has being part of this for the last 12 years? How's that had what kind of an impact has that had on you?
Oh my gosh. What impact it's had on me is that it gave me purpose and direction in my own life. And like I said, I didn't really know kind of what it was I wanted to do when I went through a period in life when I was searching for focus and passion and, trying to figure out what my purpose in life was. And it wasn't until I discovered this that I really awakened who I was as a person. And I remember when I was growing up, my mother worked in mental health in the state of Georgia. I'm from Dublin, Georgia originally.
Okay.
And so I grew up around going to visit my mother at work, and she was in group homes. She would do, work at day centers, day programs, and things like that. So I was always exposed to it, but never knew that it would be something that would be my own path. So I never connected those dots. And even to the point of sometimes when the people who my mother worked with didn't have a place to go for the holidays, if they didn't have family, she would bring them home to our house and we'd have dinner. So I didn't realize all those years growing up that, I was having dinner. I never looked at it twice, that, I was having dinner with people with disabilities. They just were a part of the fabric of my life for a long time. And though I didn't anticipate it being my own path, that's exactly where I ended up, which, I don't like to give too many, my mom too many kisses that I do. I love to give her kisses, but...
give your mom a kiss.
I
Come
know.
on, she's going to appreciate it.
To my mother, I really, I watched her and her compassion for people who were different and people who had disabilities growing up. And so now that I've taken this on my own, like I said, it really has given me the motivation and the inspiration to just give back. There's such a need, and so many people who, need services and who need to just, be brought out of the depths of what their disabilities are. And what it does for me is that it gives me an opportunity to really be around people who are, like I said, authentic and who their light just really shines. And I appreciate it so much, and I feed off of that.
Right.
So that's what they give to me. And so they say if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. That's not true. Because you have accountants, you have lawyers, you have payroll to do, you have all the paperwork. But all that aside, at the heart of what I do, I literally do not feel like I work. I'm doing what I absolutely love. I'm doing what I know there's a need for in the community. And it's my absolute passion. I don't feel like, and people always ask me all the time, how do you keep doing so much? And I have to say that because it doesn't feel like work to me. When I'm with them, it doesn't feel like work to me. So that's what it gives to me.
And something that you brought up is that you said their light shines through. I wonder how much of that is that you are such a giving individual that you help them, that you help expose their light.
I would like to thank
you. Know what I mean?
But,
it's something that I think that they probably feed off of you, where they feel like, okay, this person is helping me grow. I mean, just think of all the life skills that you just mentioned.
Right.
So I'm sure that probably helps them.
I hope that's true.
As well.
Yeah, because it really is a reciprocal kind of relationship, hopefully then. Yeah.
And something that we mentioned off camera that I want to go into now is that you mentioned that you're doing something that I feel is like disruptive as far as like the industry, as far as housing.
Right.
So can you explain what you're actually doing it? So it's more than a vision. It's actually something that you have put into place.
I have, with the start of my business with WILO NJ, I basically, a part of the services that I provide is this. For families who have adult children, and I have clients who are in their 20s, in their 30s, 40s, even clients in their 50s.
Oh, really? Okay.
And most of those clients still live at home with their families.
Okay.
And so, like, if you have a child, most families can, say, okay, one day my son or daughter is going to grow up, they're going to graduate, they're going to go off to college, they're going to move on with their lives.
Right.
And that's that. But parents of children with disabilities don't usually realize that reality. And so they are parents, not that you're not a parent if your child leaves the house, but they are on duty from the moment their child is born, even into their 30s, 40s, and 50s, with them typically living in the same household. And so there is no funding or limited funding in the state for housing for people with developmental disabilities.
And this is over the age of 21, I take
Over
it.
the age of 21.
Okay.
Exactly.
So they're basically on their own.
So you're kind of on your own. There are great programs within the state, and most clients get a budget to do day programs and things like that. But when it comes to housing, there really is a need. And I have people who knock on my door every day, or call me every day, or email me every day to say, I hear what you're doing. How can I become a part of it? So this is what I'm doing. So I meet with families, and they tell me what their wishes are in terms of a path for independence for their child. And so if they want to own a home, if they want to rent a condo, whatever that might be, I meet with them. I connect them with other families who are looking for similar outcomes for their young adult. And I say, let's meet all in one room. Let's pull our resources together and let's buy a property. And then WILO, New Jersey, does the managed care and the service provision for the houses and for their clients. So that's kind of what my main initiative is. It's giving parents the power to take housing into their own hands and say, you know what, we don't have to wait for the state to, give us, some magic pot of money to pursue housing. And so that's kind of what my main focus has been over the past year, is getting families involved in the housing initiative. And there is such a need for it because I have families who have children who are in their 30s and 40s,
Yes.
and they're still living at home. And they want to not only just see them out of the house, but families want the reassurance that my child is going to have somewhere to live and be when I'm gone. Right. And a lot of families don't get to see that reality. And so what I've been doing through WILO New Jersey is providing that situation where families can see their child living now in a place of their own, with supervision, with services being provided, with skills training being provided, and to see that their lives are really okay, separate and apart from the lives of their parents. And so the response to that model has been overwhelmingly shocking. Like, so many people are approaching me very frequently about how they can get involved. And so so that's one of the main things I'm doing right now with the housing part.
And it sounds like the parents have been very obviously positive, toward this. And the young men who are part of this, how do they feel
Oh my
about
gosh.
being
Most of them
independent?
are so excited and happy to just be in a place that they can call their own, live a life that they can call their own, with the supports, with the structure, with the balance, with things in place, that they can just kind of live independently. And that's what I think most adult people, with or without a disability, want, is a life of independence. And so Wright Independent Life Options is providing the option for families to pursue that. So that's where I'm at in life right now.
And you know what? Can you let us know how people can contact you?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the website of...
My website is www.mywillow.org, and so that's how you can reach me via the website. My email is contactus@mywillow.org, and so those are two ways that you can reach me. And another initiative, if I can just speak about it very quickly, is the WILO Weekends. So WILO Weekends is an activity, is basically a community-based social and travel opportunities for people with disabilities. So I plan activities, be it sporting events, be it the circus, be it, going apple picking, which we're doing next week. We do all sorts of events, and basically so we can meet up as a group and do outings and events together that are community-based. And that information is also found on the website under WILO Weekends. So if you go to mywillow.org, click on WILO Weekends, all the registration information for that is there.
And so for the WILO Weekends, is it a specific age group, or is it anybody's
It's
welcome?
open to young children, even from age 10
Okay.
and higher.
Okay.
Yes, and so most of my base right now is about 18 and higher, but it's open to younger students and younger clients, and so I welcome the younger base, so they can actually grow up with WILO and still be a part of it for years to come. So I'm actually reaching for a younger base as well.
Okay. So for the younger clients that you have, for Willow Weekends, do you have like different, do you segment it? So if you have like 10 to 15-year-olds, you do this, or is everybody doing the same thing
For
during
now,
the Willow Weekend?
the events and activities that I planned are all ones that, if, say, for instance, I had a handful of 10 to 14-year-olds. I have staff who, within the group, we can segment off based upon age and based upon other factors. We can say, okay, what group is appropriate to be with the other group,
I
and then we
see.
can send one group off, and they would start the activity, and the other group would do the same.
And is this for the whole weekend, like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or is it just Saturday,
It's typically on a Saturday.
Okay.
Some events might be on a Sunday, like we do like a Yankee game or something like that. Whenever they play, So shouldn't have said that, but some things are on a Sunday.
Okay.
But typically it's a Saturday, and we'll meet up on a Saturday. Families don't have to stay. Parents drop them off in the community wherever our activity is. We have a couple of shows that we booked for Paper Mill Playhouse, so the families will
that's
drop them off
nice.
to me. We'll go have lunch first, and then we'll walk to the theater at Paper Mill and watch a show together, and then they pick up afterwards. So the parents get that respite as well, where they have a couple of hours within the span of that day that they can go out and do something for themselves. And so Willow Weekends, provide something for the clients as well as for the parents.
That sounds like, I just want to review. So you have the Willow Wednesdays.
Willow Wednesdays is in the works.
Yes, and then you have the Willow Weekends. You
Willow
have
Weekends.
what is the housing initiative called?
Just Willow House.
Willow Housing?
Yep.
Okay, so all these things. So I'm curious now, how much time do you get? How much downtime do you get?
Oh my gosh.
Or do
My
you get any?
downtime is usually between midnight and 1 or 2 a.m. I don't get much downtime. But I wake up refreshed every day and ready to do it all over again, just because I love it, so yeah, not much downtime, but I love it anyway.
So we have a couple of minutes left, but I wanted to make sure that I covered everything with you. Is there anything that you want to let the audience know that we should know?
I actually, if I can take advantage of this time to just encourage and inspire anyone who's in this field and in this industry to continue to do what you're doing. I'm just one person who's trying to make a difference, but there's so many great programs, so many great initiatives that other people have set on to do, and there's such a need. So I'm one person with a big dream and a big vision, trying to make my little mark, but there's so many other people who are in the trenches and doing the same work. And so I just want to encourage all of my fellow people out there who are doing this type of work to just continue to do it. And we are making a difference, in this world one way or the other. So
You're definitely making a difference. I still can't imagine how you've come up with all of these different programs, and not only just come up with them, but you've been very successful with them.
Thank you.
And I've seen your clients, I've talked to them, so I've seen you around town, so I know that you're doing a great job with them.
Thank you.
But one last thing, you said that you would, encourage other people in your industry to continue.
Yes.
So we're gonna we have about 30 seconds left.
Okay.
So, is there anything that you mentioned that you have those views for your for the industry? Is there anything that you'd like to say to the community at large, and how can they? Is there some way that they can get involved? Or?
Right. Well, if you go to mywillow.org, you'll see a lot of information about Willow. And my main thing for the community in general is just to basically make yourselves more aware of people with disabilities in the community. So I'm all about community involvement and acceptance for people with disabilities.
Keldrick, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You were awesome.
Thank you. This was Dustin's Kaleidoscope, and we will see you next time.